All right, we've got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, look at this amazing orb video. Is that a UFO? Is that more paranormal? What is this guy? But it's just an amazing daytime capture of this orb. It's over 3 minutes long. Just an amazing video. I've seen this shared by a bunch of people. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Is that like a UFO with some sort of field activated around it? Is this an interdimensional ship of some sort? I had an orb that buzzed my car a couple of months ago after a Skywatch, after a CE5 and a Skywatch. Was it something like that? What I saw was white. It wasn't orangey like that, but really interesting. But it was about that size. Yeah, just a great capture. Yeah, people see these things and they are really amazing. And I wish I knew what they were. Is that again, is that more alien? Is that more spiritual? What is that? It reminds me of this great capture from John Bell from Real Florida UFO or Florida Real UFO. He's out there asking for contact, and check out what happens. Wait for it. Boom.
Wow, that was really cool. It was, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Look at that. You have this fast moving orb. It comes and it goes. Comes and it goes. Just a great capture. Love that. He's getting some really good stuff, and might have some juicy stuff to share with you soon. He's been getting some really interesting captures. All right, here's Ralph Blumenthal, of all people, getting into the. Well, I mean, I say of all people, he's been in the UFO game a little bit, but here he is talking about UFOs.
So to answer your question, yes, we've gotten many accounts from people who say. Who claim to be in the know. They have intelligence credentials. They say they have seen craft with their own eyes. They put their hands on craft. They have, in some cases, seen alien bodies, but not to the point where we can verify that information.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice to be able to verify that. But guess who is also talking about reverse engineering craft? Yeah, here Gary Nolan is talking about international crash retrievals of UFOs and reverse engineering.
That there are these events that have been chronicled and seen. There is at least the one that I know of that came down in Italy. I'm aware of some others that I can't talk about. But the United States has, for better or worse, been the recipient of most of the crashes. Now, what also appears to be the case is that we don't quite understand how their technologies work. Again, in speaking with people on the Legacy program, they say their technology is as advanced to us as would be a cell phone to a Neanderthal or a Denisovan. And I'm not trying to denigrate Denisovans or Neanderthals. I have 5% DNA from them in my history.
Yeah, don't denigrate the Denisovans, Gary Nolan. But there you go, Gary talking about crash retrievals and people in the Legacy program, the UFO control group, is working on this technology. We can assume reverse engineering this technology, which is very interesting that he's out saying this publicly, and that he has been read in. Well, we can assume to some parts of the UFO control group and is aware of some of what they are doing and how sophisticated this technology is. Meanwhile, ProPixels is doing an analysis on the, what do they call this? The Bright Star, the Class 6 Bright Star from Skywatcher. Now, if you remember the Bright Star, it is this really intriguing.
Class 6 is Bright Star. That one vibrates very, very fast. It literally looks like a crystal in the sky. Class 6.
Looks like a crystal in the sky. Love it. And here is a a 3D visualization of one of these objects, which is really, really cool. And ProPixels is doing a breakdown of one of the videos of these objects. I believe I shared that with you a few weeks ago, this really interesting video. I think that he plays it, portion of that. Yeah, here we go.
Now the movement is what is the most fascinating aspect of it, right? Here's the, looks like a diamond in the sky. So we're seeing that in spades here. So the reflectivity is significant. So when it's facing towards the sun, it's reflecting literally the sun right towards the camera here. So we're getting just lots of glare. But this right here, right? This is what really does it for me. This movement right here as it spins. It's almost like the 2 points are locked in space and the scallop spins around it. And if we go to what Skywatcher has identified here, right, exhibits rapid horizontal oscillation fast enough to produce radar artifacts resembling a spinning propeller. Right there, that nails it for me, because if this is spinning like that, radar is going to see it like a propeller.
I'll let you watch his full 11-minute analysis of this bright star UFO video, but it's really compelling, and he comes out on the side of this being a legit video of an anomalous object. And as you just saw, it's a really fascinating video where you get to see this thing rippling and so on. I just love it. I love what Skywatcher is doing. I wish they would put out more content, and I wish they were more transparent. Yeah, where's part 3 of their series? We're going to get the psionics who have been psychically interacting with these objects. I really want to know what the heck their impressions of these objects are. Are they able to have a interaction with a being? Are these things alive, or do they have beings inside them like a traditional craft would? It's just so fascinating, the things that Skywatcher is getting. Some of these things do seem like beings in and of themselves. You know, blobs and squids. Just super, super fascinating. And there you go, ProPixels coming out on the side of this being a legitimate video of an anomalous object. Can't wait for more information. Meanwhile, we have some intriguing comments from Dylan Borland, UFO whistleblower Dylan Borland, who testified at the recent UFO hearing.
I mean, I keep all options on the table. What I know is these things are real. They exist. We've had them. Other nations have them. I know that in some way, shape, or form, they appear in a physical sense. I know that they have an interest in people, and I have a strong belief that they have an interest in certain families, if you want to call them that. What does it all mean? I don't know, but what I do know is that as a democratic republic and a nation that votes for our elected leaders and leaders that are supposed to provide us information, we're not fulfilling our obligation in our Constitution because we're not voting with information. We are lying to ourselves.
We're lying to ourselves. But I thought that was really intriguing, because if you have studied UFO abductions to any extent, you'll see exactly what he's talking about here, that the abduction phenomenon or the contactee phenomenon goes in families. You know, if you're a contactee or an abductee, it's very likely one or more of your parents, one or both of your parents were contactees or abductees. The beings seem to be tweaking genes and then following those genes through bloodlines, through generations, maybe tweaking genes over generations. To what end exactly? We don't know. In Deep Prasad, quantum computer guru Deep Prasad, who wants to build his own civilization on Mars, and I've talked about that before, in his own contact experience where he was receiving this amazing download of information, and it was all in like hieroglyphics and things that he couldn't understand. The one thing that he could understand was DNA. It was in big, bold letters, DNA. The only thing that was intelligible about his download. So genetics, DNA seems to be very important to these beings, and they seem to be masters of genetics and DNA, and they can create hybrids, human hybrids, the Nazca mummies, and so on. And yes, I believe that those are the same beings doing the abductions and also who created the Nazca mummies. Their interest in hybridization and also putting implants, to me, signals, and there's other indicators that I've talked about before, that they seem to be talking about the same race or races, the same faction that is doing both of those two things. They're at least employing the same methods and interested in the same things. But yeah, they seem to be tweaking genes over generations in humans. To what end? What do you guys think they're up to? Let me know in the comments below. I love that Dylan is talking about that. And I wanted to get into some of Tim Burchett's comments because he had some really juicy comments the other day talking about underwater bases and how the phenomenon seems to have, be coming from underwater, or at least a lot of it, revolving around the deep sea. And he talked about certain specific places where the phenomenon was coming from. So let's give a listen to what he has to say here.
You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I'm extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about these areas. And these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. Now, I realize in the water you extrapolate that to knots and all that, but just for good old East Tennessee common sense, 200 miles an hour is something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So, yeah, there's something going on there. And
something going on there is, we've heard these things in the air before. There's numerous witnesses who have observed, football field sized or even larger UFOs in the skies. But this is in the water. So these, I'm assuming probably the same object or same class of objects, because these things are transmedium. So yeah, I think we're looking at some evidence that might be the case here. At least that's, from Tim Burchett saying that there were football field sized UFOs or USOs moving 200 miles an hour underwater. That's just crazy. I love it. I want to know all about that. I hope we find out more about that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, like and subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.